Hi everybody, this is Miss Sam from the Ashburn Public Library Children's Room, and welcome to another episode of Your Library at Home. You can tell I'm in my office today, and I wanted to take a few moments just to discuss wordless picture books and how I use wordless picture books in story times at the library, and how you can use wordless picture books at home to build early literacy skills with your littles. At the top of the program, I always like to discuss Every Child Ready to Read, which is a series of standards that we use for early literacy at the Ashburn Public Library and many libraries in North Carolina. This will help us focus on different facets of early literacy development, like talking, singing, reading, writing, and playing. These are all equally important facets of early literacy to help your child read. So for wordless picture books, I just want to take a few moments to go over some examples that I have before we go into how we use wordless picture books. So I have with me Pool by Ji-Hon Lee, Another by Christian Robinson, Bee and Bird by Craig Frazier, Sign Off by Stephen Savage, and Journey by Aaron Becker. And these are some of my favorite wordless picture books to use. They are great in forming predictions and building new vocabulary, and I'll go through each of them and just hit different tips in using wordless picture books as we go. So for Journey, I like to use this one to talk about characters and character development and feelings. So if I open Journey, you'll see a child here. And if I'm using a wordless picture book in a story time, I like to ask a lot of questions, and I'll say, oh, where does this seem to be set? Where are we? We see some bricks, we see a child, we see her riding a scooter. It just seems like an average day. There are leaves on the trees. Very nice. Oh, we're in a city. I see that there are other children here as well. I see everything looks a little bit gray and brown, but I see some color. What color is the trike here? Or what color is her scooter? What color is the crayon that this child seems to be holding? Interesting. I wonder if we'll see those colors again. How is this child feeling? What is she doing? It looks like mom is busy. Looks like dad is busy. Looks like older sibling is busy. So it seems as if how does she feel? Bored, sad. You can come up with different vocabulary words and terms for how this character might be feeling, and then you'll always be asking the question, what happens next? What do you think will happen next? What will she do? What do you do when you're bored? It's a great jumping off point to have a discussion with your child as you're predicting what will happen next, and as you're building the story, as you're building the character. What do you think that she likes to do for fun? Well, let's look and see. She likes to be outside and ride a scooter. She likes to fly kites. She likes to play basketball. So she seems to be really outdoorsy, but she's inside right now. Where do you think that she would prefer to be? And you'll carry on through the story as it develops. And this one is a fun, imaginative story about children creating a whole world full of color by drawing themselves into it. So really fun, awesome book, and I won't read the rest of it. I'll let you discover it. And there's a whole series by Aaron Becker that carries on with these children throughout using their imaginations. Then we have other books that are not exciting, but more interactive. So Sign Off is a really fun wordless picture book that I think takes children by surprise. So you see, you can use signs around you in the world to practice early literacy skills. As you're driving with your child, as you're walking with your child, as you're taking a stroll, you can point out different signs that are around you and use them to sound out words, to see letters, to pair words with their meanings out in the world, which helps early literacy. So Sign Off has a different spin on that. So we see a sign that we probably see out in the world while we're driving, particularly in the country, as a sign to beware of deer. But what will happen next? That deer comes right off of the sign and starts to nibble on the leaves above it. Wow, that is a surprise, and that will surprise your child and set them up into a world of fantasy and play. So now that they'll see this sign, this is a sign for a tractor, another sign that your child probably sees out in the world. What will happen next? What do you think? What will that tractor sign do? Will he drive off of the sign and start to mow? That's exactly what he does. He drove right off the sign and started to ride along. What about this sign here? What will happen next? Are they going to race? There he goes, wheeling right past the car. And there's a sign here. What does this sign mean? That someone is digging? Looks like there's a place to dig right there. And what did that person on the sign build? A sandcastle. So this book is really an exciting way to see different signs in the world and give them life. There's also Bee and Bird. Bee and Bird is a fun wordless picture book that takes something very small and pulls it out and makes it bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can see small things magnified and then pulls out. So you have to make predictions as to what you're looking at. What do you think that we're looking at here? And you can ask your child, what are we looking at here? What are these stripes? What might that be if the book is called Bee and Bird? Do you think it looks like bees' stripes? It is. So we've pulled out from the bee and we see the top of the bee is on top of, what's this here? Looks like it's got a triangle, it's red, there's green. It's on top of the bird. The bee is on top of the bird. And where is the bird? Where do you think the bird is? The bird's in a tree, and you'll carry on like that throughout the rest of the book, and there are some fun surprises there as well. For another is a rich fantasy wordless picture book that you can use to help you with sequencing. So sequencing is the skill for children to predict, to arrange what happens first, what comes next, and what comes last. So for another, I would use this book to make predictions of what will come next, but also I could photocopy several pages and have the children look at those copies and rearrange them to either create a new story or retell the story that we've already told, or perhaps to write on the pictures what these characters are thinking or feeling, or say, this is what happened first, this is what happens next, this is what happens last. Another really fun, picture book about a child going into an imaginative play world. And so we see a glowing circle in a dark room. We see a little girl. She looks like she's sleeping and she looks like she's happy. What about the cat? What is the cat looking at? What do you think the cat is looking at? Is the cat looking at this circle here? This bright circle that's shining a light? What do you think the cat will do next? Does it look like the cat is interested in that circle? Or you can tell a story this way. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was sleeping, and there was a cat lying on top of her who saw a hole bloom in a wall. And the hole was very bright, and the cat could see that bright hole and could see another cat in that hole. And boy, that cat recognized the cat in the hole and wanted to see who that cat could be if they could swap. And so the cat climbed out of the hole and chased a mouse. And you can tell the story that way as it develops, as if you already know what's going to happen next. And the little girl woke up. Or you can make predictions as you go. There are a couple different ways to read wordless picture books and create the story. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about Pool. Pool is one that really encourages writing for young children, I think. So I would definitely make a photocopy of some of the images in Pool. Also another rich, imaginative, wordless picture book, but it gives you a lot of blank space to develop what the characters are thinking or feeling, and you can practice writing those things out. So here is a small child with goggles and a swim cap. Where do you think they might be going? There's a very large pool, and it looks like there's no one there. Looks like the child will be swimming alone. But what's at the bottom of the pool? I'm not quite sure. What do you think that might be? Oh no! Now everyone is coming to the pool. People are jumping in and diving in. They've got big inflatables. Looks like a lot of adults are coming to the pool. And what will the little child do? Oh no, the pool is full. So full that the little child can't even get in. And it looks like the adults are pushing and floating and playing tag and jumping in and having a lot of fun in the pool. But the little boy, he finds a small patch of water that he can stick his feet into. What do you think that he's feeling? And this is all of the blank space that you can create your story, all the blank space that you can create words on the page. Ooh, beautiful illustrations in this as well. Wordless picture books also allow you to appreciate illustrations and the feelings that illustrations evoke in books, and you can have a discussion with your children about that as well. So that's just a little bit about wordless picture books, a couple of my favorites, and a couple of different ways that you could use them in your story times at home like we would at the library. Thank you for joining me for another Your Library at Home segment. And if you'd like to check out any of these picture books, any of these wordless picture books, we do have a section at the Asheboro Public Library dedicated exclusively to wordless picture books under our fun category, now that we have categories and genres in our children's room. You can go ahead and give us a call at 336-318-6804, and we can pick out and hold some of these books aside, or we'll see you in the library when we're open fully to the public for browsing. Thank you so much, and hope you have a wonderful day.